Everybody, please stand. I'm going to have a brief invocation. And following the invocation, I'm going to ask Commissioner McClellan if she'd lead us in the pledge. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, dear Lord God, we love you. We thank you for this day, this time you've given us to be together to do the work of this your county. God, I thank you for each and every one of those gathered in this room tonight, Lord, and just ask a special blessing upon all the citizens of our county. God, we thank you for sparing us out of the path of the hurricane, Lord, and we just pray for those in Florida and South Carolina and all those families that are grieving from the loss of loved ones due to this storm. God, we just uplift them to you in that recovery effort as well, Lord. Father God, now just be with us as we go throughout the rest of this agenda tonight, and just be with us in all that we do and say. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, we'll call our meeting to order. First item on our agenda is roll call. Everyone's present with the exception of Commissioner Loxton, but I do think he's en route. So as of now, everyone but Commissioner Loxton. Next item is item D, to approve our agenda. Everyone should have a printed agenda before them. Will somebody offer a motion on the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve by Commissioner McClellan. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Harrell. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, item E, approved minutes. We have a September 12th work session, a September 13th regular meeting, a September 28th emergency special call meeting. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to review those minutes. And the floor is open for a motion on the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for September 12th, 13th, and 28th.
Motion by Commissioner McClellan to approve all three. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Harrell. Any further discussion on the minutes? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, we'll move right into visitor presentations. And we got Ms. Kat Porter here, Executive Director of the McIntosh County Chamber of Commerce. Looks like she's here to talk to us about the Bounty of the Sea Festival.
Yes, sir. I have a little informational packet here for you. It just kind of shows the flyer, maybe kind of goes over the events that are planned for this, but we have our Bounty of the Sea Fall Festival planned for October 22nd. We are partnering with the Darien Lions Club for their traditional fall festival to add the resources that the chamber has, to try to grow the festival. So it will encompass, if you go to the next page, we'll show the layout. So it's going to encompass Broad Street, go across 14 George, up Green Street, up through Wayne, and then the classic car show will be in Vernon Square. Really the only change we made to the footprint was to move it off of 1st Street and over to 14 George to carry the festival across 17 and kind of encourage a path of traffic to encourage people to go to the car show and enjoy the vendors. We have also added live music that evening, so we will have music starting on the waterfront stage at 5 with Roy Gentry and the Hired Guns for Bud Band of Brunswick and Bonnie Blue Band, who is local from right here in Darien. We're looking forward to the activities. I do have a request from the committee from today. We will need a judge for the Doggy Day Parade that is part of this, and also for the Jeep show that will be involved, and they would love to have one of the commissioners act as that judge if any are willing.
Tell me the date, the 22nd?
October 22nd. And then the Dog Day Parade will be at 10:30, so they need a judge for that. And then the Jeep show judging, we're still confirming time with the Jeep show, but I would assume would be around 1 o'clock.
They would put somebody's arm. I'm out of town.
You can contact me. And then just the last page, just for your information, if any of them are not able to come before you again, is the event calendar for the remainder of the year. So the last major events are the annual chamber auction, November 17th, which will be out at Sapwood Hammond Golf Course. And then Joyful in Darien will be December 4th.
Thank you very much. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Any commissioners have any questions, comments, or anything for Ms. Lloyd?
So is the fall festival not going to happen, the Darien Fall Festival?
No, the traditional Darien Fall Festival, the Lions Club did merged with this festival for this year. So this was in place by my predecessor. So the Lions Club and the Chamber has agreed to see how it goes, how we all feel about it, and to reassess next year.
And this December 4th is the Christmas like the downtown area.
Yes, that's the downtown Christmas with the parade, with the art association doing pictures of Santa, and the typical tree lighting ceremony.
Thank you. And I know you have been before us before, but we encourage anytime you want to come, please do. I know the commission loves to get updates from various boards and entities throughout the county, so please know that you're welcome anytime. If
Thank you so much.
Something you want to come tell us.
I definitely will, and I will have more updates after our board retreat in October, so I can plan to, as long as I have the updates I need to plan come for you in November and kind of give the plan for the chamber for 2023 to all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. There are no more business presentations, there's no public hearings, there's no more business, so we'll move right into new business. And the first item is consider proclaiming October 14th, 2022 as Pink Out Friday. It's an action item. Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. This proclamation proclaims Friday, October 14th, as Pink Out Friday in McIntosh County in support of breast cancer, awareness month, which goes on all the month of October.
I'm sorry, we were exchanging papers.
Okay. It just proclaims Friday, October 14th as Pink Out Friday in McIntosh County. It asks that everybody wear pink that day in support of breast cancer awareness month, which is all of the month of October.
Okay, we did this every year.
Yes, sir. I think we missed it last year. That the hospital didn't send us a proclamation last year, but we have done it several times.
Good deal. All right, someone out for a motion on Pink Out Friday?
Make a motion to accept the proclamation for Pink Out Friday on October 14th.
I have a motion by Commissioner McClellan to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cartwright. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. Number two, before we consider going into executive session, I would like to make a couple comments, and I got a request of Mr. Payne, and Mr. Payne, what I would like to ask you as the chair is, as you well know, the county spent 23 grand on a wage and salary survey for all county employees from top to bottom. And a lot of work and effort went into it. We looked at that list hard, made the decision, and tightened our belt, and gave raises across the board as was recommended. So 150 plus employees were given the recommended raise. So then when we get to this, and there's a request for additional pay, I mean, what I would ask if you would consider is to please, put in writing to this commission why you feel like you deserve more than what we did across the board. And, and if you could give us those reasons and the reason why you feel like you're entitled to more, and let us come back and reconsider that at next month's meeting, is what I would like to see as the chair before we hit numbers 2 and 3. And I'm welcome to hear a response or reply wherever you're at in that request.
Well, I did put some numbers together, some information, have a folder up there for you. I was prepared to give you those reasons that I feel that the increase the board requested should be granted, or at least a negotiation in between those numbers. I think some things were not considered that maybe you did not know, so I would like to bring those to light.
Okay, so what you're saying, you'd like to move forward tonight?
Yes, I'm prepared.
Okay, all right. Then if someone, our next item under new business, consider entering executive session to discuss personnel. This is an action item. Anything to add, Mr. Manager? Or is that?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Somebody offer a motion for us to enter into executive session.
I'll make a motion to enter into executive session.
Motion by Commissioner Cartwright to go into executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lawson. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We get out. Can we have a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Cartwright. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lawson. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, number 3, consider employment contract with chief appraiser. Mr. Manager, anything to add?
We'll let Mr. Payne speak, and then I'll add it.
The floor is yours.
Okay. I was saying earlier, I think some of the facts that we have accomplished out of our office the past 6 years that I've been here were not kind of considered as far as when they contacted. I think in the study that they did, they would contact comparable counties or chief appraisers and find out what they make. One thing that I know they don't do is, one, they don't compile the digest, and some of them don't take homestead application. Those are two major jobs that are not officially the tax assessor's jobs. It's more by law the tax commissioner's job, and you'll see that once we finally finish the digest, and then you'll get the letter to then collect taxes. It says Wanda Nelson on there. It doesn't say keep paying on tax assessors as far as who compiles that and makes that happen. We do that every year. Past 6 years, we've passed with flying colors. 2019 and 2022 was the first year since 2005 that McIntosh has not had to have an extension.
Excuse me, are you, what you're saying is that somewhere in this document?
Yeah, the first page on there that is just a list since 2003 of how the digest has been compiled, if they had to request the extension from 2003 to...
Okay, I got it. I was wondering whether or not there was a list that was also on this page.
Will you explain one more time what it is your office is doing that the tax commissioner's office in other counties does?
Well, the tax commissioner is the one who compiles the digest. The digest is, we'll send out the numbers. We upload to the commissioner from our county system all the values for that year. From there, that's how you get your budget and decide your millage rate. And you have school board, IDA, and so forth. They all use that. In other counties, they compile that, and it takes it's paperwork, it's forms that we have to fill out. And this year, it became digital, which is we had to go to class to learn how to do that aspect of it. So that is what we do in our office also. Amongst all other things, which is take care of permits, pick up new construction, handle appeals, and court appeals.
But you're saying that that particular thing that you're doing with uploading the documents and going to the training and all that is not typically done in other counties by your office?
No.
Why is that we do that?
Well, there's a small excerpt law that says that the tax commissioner can dictate that to the assessor's office. They have chosen to do that. But again, once everything is done, the letter doesn't come back and say, tax assessors, you can now collect taxes. It says tax commissioner. So we've had 6 straight digest approvals by the Department of Revenue. In my tenure, between the savings of, we've had a savings of $381,960 in fines that we've saved the county. Prior to that, 2013 to 16, the county was assessed a penalty of $190,980 by the state for digest not being compliant. Also, since 2016, we've increased the digest by 24%, and we have had 2 passing 3-year office reviews. We're measured twice a year, one by the Department of Revenue and one by the Department of Audits. And every 3 years, the Department of Revenue actually comes to McIntosh and does a full review of our office operations, our numbers, our minutes, to make sure that we're compliant with their rules. And we passed that the past 2 years. We're due for another review next year. Some of our office highlights, and we would love for you guys to be involved. We've had 10 McIntosh High School seniors be interned through our office. They've also gone on to college. We've also had 1 or 2 come back and show interest in doing assessment. We adopt a family each Christmas. We've had, since I've been here, had 2 families a year. We get by the clothes, toys, anything to help some of the non-privileged or people who need help. And we work with the elementary to find out who to pick. Tanya Armstrong, she's no longer here, but we used to work with her a lot in picking that family. We also volunteer at the Heart Shore. That we spend time, we have the office doing volunteer time and helping the community. Again, those are just small things that I've started in the office to try and, one, create morale, and with that, and with the numbers that I have, I just felt that the number that came back should have been a little different from what I saw.
Is that pretty much it?
That's
I mean, the reason I'm asking is when you're done, I'll open the floor.
okay. I
don't mean this at all, I mean,
Okay.
you're finished.
In the folder, I just presented everything that I'm talking about. We have the order from the state that was finding McIntosh, and then you have 2016 where that order was lifted. At the page 3, you have a chart showing you how the digest has increased every year since I've been here. And then we have just the Social Security cost of living adjustments just to show what this average was throughout this is actually just Georgia here. Again, I'm definitely enjoy my staff and enjoying being here in McIntosh, enjoy the community, and would love to stay on and serve the board that has definitely done a great job.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to open the floor to the commission for any questions or comments of Mr. Payne or staff or anything.
We can, I think this talks about a contract, the contract with the chief appraiser. Is that contract, where does that contract normally come from? Is it coming from Chief Payne or coming from the board?
He would present a contract to his board. They would either recommend it come to our board or not recommend it. In this case, they have recommended it come to our board. Without y'all's approval, it can't be bound legally.
So the contract is what's asking for the raise?
Yes, sir.
And are they able to make the raise from their own budget?
As long as they can stay within the bottom line of their budget, yes.
Okay. Does the contract specifically request an increase in their budget line?
It doesn't specifically say that, but that's how we assumed it. Since the millage rate and the budget was already set, once we received the request.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments?
If we increase anybody's budget, does that mean we have to decrease somebody else's budget? Do we have?
Unless you can make up with it in revenues, you have to decrease somebody else's budget, yes, sir.
Is there a period, do we sometime midpoint or some points later, reevaluate our budget to see whether or not we can make adjustments?
I review it daily, weekly, monthly. I look at financials all the time. And if there is something that comes up in emergency, it comes to y'all, we do a budget amendment. One thing that we did tell the employees this year is that we would review the salary survey data after a 6-month time period, just to make sure that we're still competitive because the rate of inflation's rising, so is the cost of living. So we did promise the employees that we would reconsider things in 6 months.
What is that contract asking for?
Addition around, let's see, finance director of Athens Park County told me never do math in public. Around $8,000 additional a year.
And that will go up a little bit more.
On salary.
Right.
On salary, but there's other.
Yeah, there's some other things in there, such as health insurance and travel allowance.
And I'm just asking, can we approve the contract without increasing the budget line?
I refer to Mr. Paul for that one.
I think it's entirely legal to do that, but I mean, that would be an issue for the Board of Assessors have approved the contract. I think we need some clarity there. They've approved the contract. The question in my mind would be whether or not there's liquid in their budget sufficient to to address it, or were they asking for a budget increase? We all took it and mean that they were asking for an increase. Mr. Payne, can you shed some light on that? I mean, were they asking for a?
No, it was just timing, the timing that we were able to actually have our board meeting. But the actual contract was sent to them prior to them to the budget.
But were they asking for additional funding to support this, or did they feel like they have it in their budget, they're just gonna move money around?
Well, we were not sure about our budget until recently. We didn't receive the 2023, I think, budget. We hadn't received it physically. I had to actually go and get it.
So are you saying that at the time that they submitted this to us, they were unsure of?
We were not aware of our budget at that time. I just presented the new budget to them at yesterday.
Oh, okay, that changes things.
When did,
Well, you present your
presented our
budget.
September meeting,
Yeah.
and we approved, we presented the budget at the budget retreat, which was in August.
we approved it in September, that's correct.
I would like to have an answer to that question before I vote on his thing. What I'm hearing is, we don't know whether or not, I'm hearing two possibilities, that we don't know for sure whether or not they want an increase in their budget, and we don't know whether or not they were planning on paying for his budget or can pay for his budget within.
A salary increase was not requested in their budget request. There was funding for some additional positions, but not salary increases specific to the chief person.
So in theory, they could pay for it. They might be able to pay for it out there, and they might want to do that.
If they were fully staffed, then I don't think they would be able to.
But are
Not currently, that's it.
they? Okay. And how long has those positions been vacant?
Mr. Payne, you'll be able to answer
How long
that.
Just recently, probably about a month now, we had 2 departures since the new pay study. And both were for, as they say, better money or more money.
How much were those salaries?
We had one that increased to, I think, 36, and then another one that around 27, 28, I believe.
So, I mean, if we're fixing to really drill down on this contract, there's way more to it than an $8,000 raise. There's 100% of health benefits. How much is that? What's the value of that, just ballpark me?
Oh, close to $10,000
It's now we're at 18. And there's an additional 6
for travel.
for travel with a company, with a county vehicle. So $6,000 on top of the county vehicle that you already have?
Again, this is all negotiable. This is the third. No, that's not it.
Sir?
I thought you were about to say something.
No.
I presented the same contract with different numbers 3 years ago. It was granted. So I'm
Not by this board, by your board. This board did not approve your contract 3 years ago.
but it was implemented.
Right.
Not by this board.
Right.
Right.
So, and I did the same thing. I presented it to the board to have to vote on it, and it was implemented. So I thought it was all in the same process.
Okay, I'm new to this, Patrick. Mrs. Zucker, if you can answer this question for me. Is this the right venue? Are we as board, chairman of boards, should we be negotiating this contract? Is this something that should be done at a different place?
The board of assessors should negotiate the contract, and then
Okay,
we all
yeah.
are responsible for the final approval.
But it's my understanding they sent us a contract that they've approved. So then what they sent us, I don't see as being negotiable tonight.
Right.
I'll tell you, one of my concerns, Chief Payne, is changing, and I'm not, and you have not said that this is the intent of your intent or their intent, but I do have some concerns about changing the budget after the budget and the, what's that word you like to use? The,
Budget amendment, or the millage rate.
Millage rate have been set. I have a concern about that, so I would like that question to be answered before we vote on this. because I don't know, I'm hoping that they'll be able to pay for it within your own budget. Other than that, it blows up somebody else's budget. And short of that, I would ask you to consider, seeing that we're going to revisit all budgets again in around mid-year, that your board will understand that if they were to find the money now, that they could possibly come back with a request to modify the budget based upon whatever, and then we as a board can vote on. But right now, there's questions I can't answer and you can't answer. So my motion would be to delay a decision on this until we get some of the questions that we raised answered by the board. Primarily, are they asking this board to increase their budget line after the fact? And I would like you to be able to tell us, if we were to vote on it, what is the totality of that impact on our budget? Because it's not, as Chairman pointed out, it's not 8,000, it could be 20,000. And of course, when you come back, I'm assuming you're going to go to some other department and say, I don't have to cut your budget. And if I'm that department head, that dog don't hunt, unless you got some real good answers for them.
Got another commission.
Well,
Yes.
again, I'm here to negotiate. That's why I originally gave it to Patrick for you to look over and then go from there. We didn't receive the budget until.
Right.
Yeah,
I
So
understand.
you were originally, just for clarity, were you, and not to interrupt, but were you originally going off of your salary prior to us implementing the Plan C from the salary survey? Were you going off of your 75,000 base salary figure when this, or was the board when this was put into plan, put into action?
I'm sorry, was my original value or?
Just for your salary, not talking about the health insurance or the travel or anything?
No, we initially started conversation probably about a month or two ago, and that my contract was about to be up, and so that we need to negotiate. So the value that came up, that was prior to even getting their numbers.
Okay, so when y'all started this, you weren't aware, or the board wasn't aware, that we would implement the Plan C, which in fact gave majority of the employees, including yourself, a raise.
We kept checking on it. I sent emails, hey, are you finished with it? I want to be able to get my board some numbers. So we hadn't gotten those numbers yet when all that was in place.
Okay.
Did you, for my clarity, did you have that number when you requested the 8,000? Is this 8,000, you made the request for 8,000 knowing what the result of the survey was?
Yes, I did find out what the survey was.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor.
What's your motion?
I make the motion that we delay making the decision on the contract with chief appraiser pending answers to the question whether or not the board is requesting a modification of their budget, or is their intention to, if we will approve this package, to pay for it out of the existing budget.
Before we go for a second, Mr. Attorney, is delay the word we're looking for?
As opposed to table.
Table would be handled tonight.
That's right, and delay's fine.
Delay's
That works fine.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. Again, my board has been through a lot lately, and I came just to really bring it to be, the professional way, bring it to you guys to approve or not approve. If it's not in the works this year, but you said you would look at it in the next 6 months, that'll be fine. I'll just be not under contract at that time. I guess once you guys, 6 months from now, I think you say, we can go from there.
And I hear you, and I appreciate it, saying like you're withdrawing it, but I would I'll have a dog in the fight, but I would encourage you to still ask the question. Can they give you an increase, whatever that might be, within within their existing budget, whether it's 8,000 or 3,000 or whatever it might be.
Yes, sir.
But what do we do with this contract? Do we still need an answer on the contract, or is he withdrawing the whole contract?
Well, the
What do they do?
Well, if we go with the recommended salary, will the contract still be on?
So, and my understanding is they can approve the contract and honor everything in the contract on their own without getting a vote from the board. Is that correct?
The county is not bound by.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. That's right. The county's not bound by it. They
Exactly.
choose within their own structure to move monies around. They can address the pay situation, not the severance and that kind of stuff, but the pay situation they can address. But the county's not bound by that.
Understood. Yeah, that's all I'm
The budget doesn't change.
Okay.
That we don't need them approve this, because as it's written, we're not prepared to approve it. You're saying that you want to just withdraw it, and then you talk to your board, and your board can do certain things without.
I would still need to bring it before you, all right?
For approval. If you're, number one, if you're looking for funding, there's no question it has to come here. But number two, if you're looking for the county to be bound by as to severance and all those other issues that are outside of your budget, then absolutely.
So, I kind of have two questions. One, Commissioner Watson, are you want your motion to stay? Or Mr. Payne, are you withdrawing this contract at this time?
I would like to talk to my board, find out what they want to do. Give me an indication of what I need to do.
Okay, based upon his answer, then my motion stands, and then we can address it when he finds answers.
We have a motion to delay a vote and a decision on this contract with Mr. Watson. Is there a second?
Can I ask one thing?
No, sure.
I'm sorry. So is someone, I would assume, going to have a conversation with Mr. Payne, because he could come back with this 10 times if he doesn't know what we're willing to do?
No, sooner or later we might vote.
Right, but I mean, does he just keep guessing? Like if there's other things that we aren't necessarily okay with, who does he?
I'm fine with if we want to go with the pay scale, I'm fine with that. But I would like to know that the county the commissioners are have the approval of it.
Well, there's two different options, the way I see it, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. One is, and I'm speaking as an individual, I don't feel that we are posed as a position to honor the contract as it reads right now. Financially, we would not be able to. Secondly, your board may be able to if you have the flexibility in your existing budget. And if that's the case, then it wouldn't involve a line item adjustment. It wouldn't involve a budget adjustment from us being approved. So if that's the case, then we wouldn't have to adjust the budget. If you're asking for us to come back to adjust the budget by roughly something $1,000, that may be something, that's something that I don't think we could do.
Because of the negative impact on other department heads.
And what we have is we've got a motion on the floor that we're fixing to call for a second on. But we've got a contract here that we can vote up and down, or we have a motion on the floor that we can vote up and down. And I'm inclined for us to move forward with this motion to delay till a later date to be announced. No, that may not be the motion to delay.
Can we add a date to that so staff knows when to put it back on the agenda?
Yeah, I would say no later than the next, no later than the November.
Regular meeting?
Right.
Okay.
And if I can add, this has nothing to do with whether or not, I did not do an assessment of whether or not you deserve it or not. I don't dispute anything you say. It's just that the idea of changing other people's budget, giving what you want may have a negative impact someplace else that we right now don't have an idea, at least I don't have an idea how much of an impact nor where Mrs. Zuck is going to find that other money from. And the negative impact it may have on someone else.
I understand.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to delay until November's meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, number 4 under new business.
Commissioner Gutierrez.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 4, consider amendment to the agreement for probation and pretrial diversion supervision fees for Superior State and Magistrate Courts. This is an action item. Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. Southeast Corrections provides probationary services for Superior State and Magistrate Court. They are requesting that their supervision fees be increased from $41 to $45 per probationer. This service does not have any additional cost to the county, and the service period doesn't have any cost to the county. They make their money off of the charge. Yes, sir.
All right, any questions or comments from the commission? And would someone offer a motion to the amendment, to the agreement?
I make the motion that we approve the amendment as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Carwacki to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harrell. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's everything under new business. We'll move right into commissioner reports, and we'll start with Commissioner McClellan. No report. Commissioner Harrell.
I wanted to take into consideration, Steve Mellinger has approached me about the pipes. It's a machine, and I would just like the rest of look into that.
Talk about a piece of equipment to blow out pipes. Yes, sir.
And then, Sean, have you found out anything about the,
Like Chimney Creek program?
yeah,
Yeah, we talked to the engineering firm, and we're having, the DNR is hopefully going to be able to come up with the funding for the ramp itself, but we still have to break the bulkhead off and do that ourselves.
when we're gonna do it?
There'll be a little bit of permitting involved in it through the, after the engineers are done with it, so it's a long process. I know it's taking longer than you want.
No.
That's it? All right. Commissioner Carwacki.
Number 4.
All right, so we'll move into the chairman's report. And as everybody knows, Tuesday, November 8th, there's a very, very, very important election, nationally, state, and locally. We have a county commissioner sitting at this table, Commissioner Carwacki, who has been a pleasure to work with. She's done her job, she's done it well. And that's not just my opinion. When we go before the city, the school board, the sheriff's department, our relationship with them is better than it's ever been, and it's due to the makeup of this commission and our staff and our willingness to work with those boards. We have a joint IDA board. We have a joint historical society board. We have a joint comprehensive plan. We have the sheriff's office has now assumed the city police department. That's because of these boards working together, and Commissioner Carwacki is a huge part of that. We have a joint T-SPLOS and we have a joint SPLOS. Never in my time on this commission have we worked as well as we have with these other government agencies. And again, it's due to the makeup of this commission and this staff, and she is a huge part of that. I encourage everybody to please vote. Get your friends, your family, your neighbors to vote. Again, the election is November the 8th, Tuesday, and early voting begins October 17th. So please vote. And that concludes the chairman's report. Mr. Manager's report.
No report tonight, sir.
No report. County attorney's report.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to announce that there's no need for further executive session and certainly no report from the attorney.
All right, with nothing left on our printed agenda, we will be adjourned.